overthinking, program hopping, and constantly doubting your decisions. The journey of the overly analytical lifter goes something like this. I have been like this myself and still sometimes struggle with that mentality. I just don't let it affect my training anymore. It's an arduous process, but much like the dirty bulk, it's one that most people have to personally experience and go through to realize its futility. Now, you shouldn't stop learning, analyzing, and trying to optimize things if that's what you like doing. But I will suggest a way of doing this that is free of overthinking, program hopping, and constant doubt by hopefully convincing you that simplicity truly is the best way forward. The truth is that you can get 90% of your maximum possible results by doing very simple stuff and just giving it your all. And importantly, chasing optimal often ends up being suboptimal, because the mere process of trying to attain perfection just leads you away from the important things, and the 90% becomes 80% instead of the 100% like you wanted. A clarification before we start. I'm talking about getting bigger and stronger in general, not about Olympic weightlifting, strongman, CrossFit, or any specific sport. Just imagine squat, bench, deadlift, overhead press, pull-ups, rows, and maybe some isolation exercises. Basic strength. Firstly, an important platitude. More is more, but more is not always better. Whenever you're really passionate about something, you want to learn all about it and do everything you possibly can to get better at it. Being passionate about lifting, you probably want to train all the time, and you spend countless hours every day watching videos, listening to podcasts, reading articles, and maybe tinkering with your program to try to maximize your progress. Things that require a lot of fine motor learning and memorization, like getting really good at a complex video game or learning to play a musical instrument, do benefit from a ton of practice every day. But lifting is different. Too much of it is detrimental. Lifting is actually relatively simple from a technical skill aspect. Although it requires kinesthetic awareness and timing when moving maximal loads, the movements themselves are pretty forgiving compared to many other sports or activities. Building muscle is even more forgiving than that, because muscle grows from the amount of work it performs, and you can't lift weights against gravity without using your muscles, unless part of your workout gear is a forklift. The most idiotic thing you can do is cheat your reps up and then skip the negative portion of the lift. But if you avoid that, you probably got 95% of your muscle building skill covered. Feeling the muscle is something you kinda do need to practice, but this is usually covered by just performing the lift correctly and your muscle getting big enough that you are actually physically capable of feeling it contract. Another huge truth bomb is that learning proper skill in lifting requires you to lift weights that actually challenge you, and you have limited resources for this, because your body's recoverability has a very real ceiling. Thus, there is only so much relevant practice you can get without running yourself to the ground, and this cannot be fixed by using light weights. Squatting with 60% of your 1 rep max doesn't improve your 1 rep max technique nearly as much as squatting with 90% does, because 60 and 90% feel and move completely different, especially when you get stronger. Now let's talk about the thinking side of lifting. There is a lot of information to be absorbed about lifting, nutrition, stress management, and all things related to this kind of lifestyle. However, much of this information is ultimately irrelevant because there are only a few key principles that truly matter, and as long as you follow these, many things will work. This is why there are so many programs and training methods that different people swear by, all getting great results. Simplicity also often works extremely well, if not the best in many cases. The reason for this is that if you change too many things too often, you can't attribute your outcomes to any specific change out of the million ones that you made, and thus you never learn what works. The only way to learn is to change one thing at a time for each lift that isn't progressing, and then waiting a couple of months to see if the changes had any effect. Depending on the person, it may take up to several months to peak in performance when switching to a new exercise or just changing your training variables in general. Changing things too often means you never fully adapt to training and never gain momentum that maximizes strength gain and muscle growth, so you never reach your best progression. Last but not least, belief is a huge factor when it comes to making progress. If you always overthink things, it results in second guessing and doubt. And if you constantly doubt your program and think of replacements for it, you never fully commit to your training and never give it your all. And this is not some woo. Almost every lifter with a handful of training experience will attest to this fact. Stop overthinking and focus on what matters. Consistency, effort, and patience. For more about the importance of those three things, that's a hard fucking one for a Finnish guy. Those three things. Check out this video here. Thanks for watching. I'll see you later.